PXG say their new driver is so fast that it brushes up against the USGA limits on ball speed. Today I've got the PXG Lightning Driver and we're going to find out whether it can boost your worst swings and will it be a contender for best driver of 2026. So in the new Lightning range there are 4 different heads. We have the Tour Mid, the Max 10K and the Max Light. I went down to PXG London South to have the full fitting, try all the new clubs coming out, and I was fit into the Tour Mid driver, which pretty much sums me up perfectly because anything with Tour on, I'm like a magpie and I want it in my bag, but I'm not that good. So the Tour Mid is basically like, you want to be good, but you're not that good. This head it's a great looking shape. It's just a classic shape driver, which is nice. I think the Tour was a fractionally smaller profile, but I just didn't get the right numbers off it, so that is absolutely fine. Let me just hit a couple. Okay, so first shot off the bat, 159 ball speed, slightly low strike, so fractionally high spinning at 2.7, 270 carry, pretty good. 13 feet offline, can't complain about that. Now, the reason why I don't have all 4 heads here is because PXG have gone really deep into custom fitting. They will not sell you a club that isn't somewhat fit for you, which I believe to be right. We shouldn't be selling clubs that aren't right for people, so I commend PXG on that. So I've only got the Tour Mid driver here to talk about, but that's absolutely fine. So the first thing you might note just by looking at it is it looks very similar to Black Ops. Now, I think we can all agree the Black Ops looked great, and actually it was a really good performer, but the big thing was maybe it just lacked a little bit of ball speed. So that is what PXG have focused on with the Lightning driver. So their whole new thing this year is about having a frequency tuned face. So PXG are basically saying that they've adjusted the way the face vibrates on impact, which has given us a more efficiency energy transfer, which basically means more ball speed. Now they've done this in 3 different ways. They've stiffened up the chassis by adding this spine, which makes the material much stiffer. They've added more carbon fiber than they had on the Black Ops, and we've also got new weights, a different weighting structure. So we have these 3 adjustable weights, which also is an enormous fitting tool, but we can get into that later. So my experience of hitting it, certainly whilst I was being fit, was like pretty juicy numbers. Now I was fit on a Trackman in the indoor room there, so the numbers are slightly different to what I get on my Foresight, but we're hopefully going to see some decent speed. That was good hit. 288 carry, which is big. That's big dog for me. 163 ball speed, which I'm very happy with. But what's nice is the height's at 113 feet, launch angle's good, low spin, 2,100. That is like absolute sweet spot of ball data for me. That was really nice. The big story with the Black Ops was just how forgiving that driver was. And PXG are aware of how useful this is for amateur golfers. So actually, although we have more ball speed off this driver, each head has actually become more forgiving in the Lightning than the previous editions. That can be adjusted and tuned individually on the drivers with these weights. So moving the heavy weight back, or having the heaviest weight in the back makes it more forgiving. Moving the heavier weights forward makes it less forgiving. But as an overall rule, this is faster and more forgiving than the Black Ops, so that is enormous. One of the things that happens in the PXG fittings, which I think is different to most brands, is there isn't just 3 individual weights that you are limited to swapping around. They stand there and they've got, 2 gram weights to 14 gram weights in 2 gram increments, which basically means you can have a driver that nobody else is using, and they can really fine tune the weighting system so that the club feels right and it produces the ball flight you want. I do think PXG offer arguably the best fitting by any manufacturer. I think it's really detailed, and I just don't think people leave PXG with clubs that don't work, because the amount that they can tinker with, in the loft, the lie, the weighting is just pretty much as good as anybody's, if not better than anybody's. So props to them for that. I think they probably lose out a little bit on sales because they don't just sort of flog stock clubs like other brands do. But again, you have to commend them for that, because they're not just trying to sell clubs, they're trying to get people into better clubs, which is something I totally believe in. So 163 to beat. I'll take that one. Not quite as good. 163.5. Not quite as good as strike, a little bit off the bottom. 2,800 spin, so it's not quite gone as far at 279. But with the driver I've been using, the LA Golf driver, pretty much as good as I can do on that was like 162, 161. As much as I've enjoyed using that driver because it goes really, really straight, I have been on the prowl for more clubhead speed. A bit more clubhead speed and a little bit more ball speed. Oof. 163 again, 285 carry, 15-degree launch, 2,500 spin. I'm pretty much dialed in there. Can't hit it a right lot better than that. So the guy fit me for an Aldila Rogue 995. This is a 55-gram extra stiff. Again, just lightening the weight, stiffening the shaft has just helped me swing hard and feel stable without sort of gaining speed and becoming erratic, so that's really nice. PXG are recording way tighter dispersions on this driver than anything they've ever had before, and one of the reasons for that is obviously, you know, the weighting systems and the technology in the frequency tuning. But something really interesting that I think might go under the radar this year is the face etching. So looking at the face, you can sort of see that there's lots of little lines on there, and what that they've found is when they have this face etching, not only does the dispersion become tighter on just your shots in general, but when it's wet, the dispersion on this driver radically improves compared to a driver without the face etching. So I know, especially me in the UK, when we play, it's wet, the ball's wet, it's raining, whatever, it's never perfect conditions. So knowing that I've got some technology in the driver that's actually going to help me when it's crappy weather, I think that sort of really helps me sort of set up to the ball with confidence, and it actually makes me want to use this driver. .162, just launching a bit high now. 162, 286 carry, 2,300 spin. Like, this is pretty much super dialed in, super optimized for me. The numbers I'm getting are like pretty much perfect. I mean, that one maybe went slightly too high, I would say, maybe. But all in all, that sort of 285 carries way longer than I'm used to. I would say that with my LA, I'm usually 270, 275, 280 maybe on a really good one, but I've had multiple shots carrying over 280 and one at probably nearly 290, which is just enormous for me. Now, what I like about the Lightning is there's 3 distinct driver head shapes. So there's a head shape for you. I like the idea that all the heads are the same. Looking down on the ball, I don't think is right. So the tour head is smaller, more compact. The tour mid is going to suit a lot of people's eyes, and the 10K is the one that's big and sort of looks the most inviting, the most forgiving. So I can't really tell you that the Lightning Tour Mid is the best driver in the world and you should definitely go buy one, because actually you need to go and try them with PXG, try the 3 different heads, have an expert look at your swing, get you into the right shaft, get you into the right weight locations, and from there you're going to find something that works for you. I do think this is a genuine contender, right? So like, quite naturally I always look at Titleist, TaylorMade and Callaway as the 3 drivers that I would probably play, just because I know the numbers are good on those clubs, and those are like generally the fastest drivers, because I hit the ball pretty straight, right? Where I've always liked PXG as a brand because I think the fitting thing they do is really cool, and I like that they don't adhere to like sort of the standard rules of the golf industry, so that's a bit of me as well. But it was only when I've been in fit for the Lightning have I gone, oh wow, actually that's really good. The club they've given me there is producing the numbers that are better than what I have been using. So I'm actually really excited to put this head to head against what's coming from the other brands, because I do think that I might end up playing with this for the year, if not longer. So that would be great. I'd love to have PXG in there, just because they're a bit of a disruptor. $164. Oh God, that was shocking. Almost did my back in there. $165.3.